Hey, welcome back. So, today I just wanted to make a really fast video. I feel like making quicker videos as opposed to like long drawn out ones might just be a little bit easier for me nowadays, especially um, when I get the idea to do something or whatever. So, um, today I'm gonna talk about, I almost fell off my couch. Today I want to talk about, I get a lot of questions nowadays about, so like when I mention certain things, especially about my sexuality and how I feel about sex now, and, am I waiting for marriage and all of this, it's, um, it's weird for me to have to talk about these kinds of things, but I feel like since opening up about a lot of this stuff, it's been helping a lot of people. People have been, telling me that they really appreciate my transparency. And I feel like if I'm going to share something so personal, I would hope that it has some kind of value to people. And so that's the only reason why I'm making this second video, because I have mentioned a little bit previously that um, it's been a little over 2 years. And I made a video about asexuality, I think, sometime last year, because at one point I thought that that's what was going on, right? But I also feel like now, like, why do I need to put a label on my sexuality, period? Um, and so I just don't. I just feel like when it's the right time for me to continue doing that, that is when it will happen. It doesn't mean that I'm like waiting for a husband or waiting for anything or whatever. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen again. A lot of people feel appalled when they hear that. They're like, "Oh my God, like how do you do this? Like, are you frustrated? Are you like?" I even had somebody ask me if I masturbate and all these personal questions, but I feel like people want to know this because they just, some people, and even at one point in my past, I couldn't fathom how people did this. um, but I want to make an important point, which is everybody's journey is different. Every single person's journey is completely different. Okay. Um, I don't have like a magic regimen or trick or but what I can describe is my journey. And I feel like I've gotten to this place of what I would call a level of emotional sovereignty is through being by myself and being isolated for so long. I mean, if anybody has been following my channel for a while, you will see like I was alone for a very long time. I had time to really get to know myself without being in a relationship, without I would be off social media. I would not allow things to trigger me. I'm gonna fall off my couch. I wouldn't follow content that I felt was triggering me or but it was a whole process. This didn't take, this has been my whole lifetime. There was a point in time where I did struggle a lot with my sexuality and my sex drive and having discernment with who I was engaging sexually with. And I feel like for anybody that has a past where they have a lot of regret and a lot of shame with their sexual history, it can be a lot easier once you have overcome it, because you can now look at your whole experience from your past and say, wow, I've allowed people to use me and abuse me, allowed. I'm using the word allow because we allow this. And so I've allowed people to use me and do all these things to me. But now I'm at a place where I'm not going to allow it anymore. I feel like with anything, with any problem or anything that we feel shame about, either we reach that point of like I'm done, or it continues and it completely ruins your life. That's with an addiction, that's with sexual behavior, that's with anything. And I reached that point. But also, I think there were some spiritual aspects of what happened to me. Let's see something. What happened to me is that I can't sit over there right now. With regards to my sex drive, which was, I feel like I died spiritually. And I think I mentioned this before in a previous video. I feel like I died. And so the person that I was, like, in my early 20s and mid 20s is no longer there. I felt like there was a new energy that was transferred into me somehow, if that makes sense. And I don't know what that was or what to call that. But I know that there was this completely just extreme change and shift energetically and spiritually that was like the final point of this change that I went through with my sex drive. It kind of just disappeared and went away. I mentioned this in one of my videos that it was just like it just went away. So it wasn't something that I had to struggle with, like, oh my God, like I need to have sex. Like, no, it was almost like everything got silenced internally. Okay, y'all, I cannot wait to get a setup because my lighting in here is so bad and I'm about to lose light, so I'm trying to finish this. I have to sit by the window. Yeah, so it's just like I had this whole energetic frequency transformation. And there was no struggling. I didn't feel the need to masturbate. Let me get back, answer that question. I didn't feel the need to do any of that, to watch porn, it was almost like my creation energy, that's what I call it, moved upward and possibly left. Or maybe it just stayed here. Now I feel like I'm at the place where I'm bringing it back down into my body and I'm using it to create the life that I want. I'm using that life force. I'm using energy because this is what people relate to. We'll have a whole other conversation maybe another day about the term energy and what I think it is. But for now, I'll use the term energy. I feel like my hormones, my energy is coming back into my body and I'm able to utilize it in a way that is helpful to me. With creating in this realm, I'm feeling more grounded here now. And so I hope this answered some of the questions that I get asked a lot about. How did I get to this place of emotional sovereignty, of dropping addictions, with just a lot of things. I just feel more stabilized. It feels more quiet internally now. That's the best way for me to describe it. And I just wish that all of you who are possibly still struggling with some really tough things, just get through it. And I'm sending you healing energy and love. I know it is extremely difficult. I struggled so severely. If you look at my channel, other videos, for years. And so I'm grateful that I'm finally reaping some benefit. And actually, I have a few surprises coming up next month, along with my publishing that I won't mention. I'll bring that up when my books are ready to go. And it will be kind of like a service to people who ask me a lot of questions or need advice on how to overcome certain things. There are things that you can still do, even though all of our journeys are different. There are things that I could suggest. There are things that I have suggested to people in the past that I have lots of testimonial about. And I just feel like it's time for me to really start helping whoever wants the help or the advice or whatever you want to call it. So thanks for being here, and I wish you all well. Come back, subscribe. Peace, Lords. Later.